Hey friends, welcome back to this channel. My name is Venus and I'm a music therapy student in Sydney. I'm now doing an experiment where I do a bi-weekly reflection of everything that went through in my life and in my mind. So this video is actually my digital mental health journal. Welcome on board. So what happened in the last 2 weeks? We're still in lockdown and life was pretty uneventful for me. I'm getting used to walking around the blocks just before sunset. It's getting a bit cold in Sydney at night, so I'm trying to enjoy the sunshine as much as I can. If I had my own backyard, I would probably lounge on the grass whole day, I guess. I realized it has been 1 month since I started self-isolating. I didn't really know how I survived, especially the weather was so nice during the Easter long weekend, but I guess I just didn't really think about it and focused on my schoolwork and stuff. In terms of productivity, I just ditched my Google Calendar because it was giving me so much pressure. I now use the traditional method of listing the top 3 tasks I need to accomplish, and as long as I get them done, I call it a day. I now use the Google Calendar to journal what I did because it's color-coded and I can easily see where I spent most of my time on. This week I want to talk about the feeling of loneliness. So I looked it up and here's what I found on Wikipedia. Feeling lonely versus being socially isolated. So there's a clear distinction between these two. If you don't have the desire to interact with others, you won't feel lonely whether you're in a crowd or not. Loneliness is a subjective experience. Basically what I'm in is solitude, simply the lack of contact with people. Conversely, you can be lonely while in solitude if you need more social interaction, which is not currently available, just like now. I've already mentioned before that I'm now living alone. I have no family here in Sydney. Being an introvert myself, I'm quite comfortable of being alone. Even if you ask me to have lunch by myself outside or going to the beach alone, I have no problem. Well, I don't think I'll go to the movies by myself though. I certainly know the importance of socializing, team lunches, happy hours, coffee dates, that kind of stuff, but I can't really say that I miss those moments. I'm quite content with being on my own. How do I really do that, you might ask? Well, I always tell myself that since I'm the only one that I'll be spending most of my life with, I might just get to know myself better and spend time to nurture this relationship with myself. Does that make sense, or does it sound a bit narcissistic? I also believe that one can only love others if they love themselves first. You can't pour for anyone else if your cup is empty. Anyway, loneliness is really common, and I dare say that it's actually more problematic and widespread than a pandemic. In fact, loneliness is closely associated with depression, which the World Health Organization, which is your trustee, has identified as the foremost disability, so it's certainly a public health threat. Whether you're in a strong relationship, have a successful career or not, you still experience loneliness at some point in your life. And some research point out that this Generation Z is the loneliest generation ever. This is quite interesting because it's really up for debate whether social media and technology actually brought people closer or drift them further apart. During this lockdown, many people actually interacted with more people than they normally would. At the same time, you may feel more lonely and depressed than ever when you're stuck in your little room while seeing others lounge in their private swimming pool on Instagram. So I don't know. I certainly think that people should have a few close friends who they can talk about anything. You just need to voice out when you don't feel good, seriously. Another way to address your feelings is to write it down, let it out. Maybe that's why I write so much. I overthink a lot and I really enjoy talking to myself. But this is not healthy in the long term. People should have some social circles and they should pay effort to maintain the bonding throughout their life because as they age, their focus will gradually shift from the romantic partner to the new family that they form. And friends, they gradually drift apart. And this is a sad story that I don't want to happen in my life. So yeah, this is what I think about social circles and loneliness this week. I also want to talk about my weekly favorite. Last week, I listened to a really good podcast episode from The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett, and this is everything that everyone should go listen to right now to get your life together among chaos. It inspired me to write a blog post, which I'll link down in the description box below if you fancy checking it out. In fact, this podcast is the reason that I'm sitting here now. I really love how Stephen presents himself. It's so authentic and raw. When I started listening to it last year, I knew I wanted to do it at some point in my life as well. There were 2 main ideas that I took away with. First of all is to be mindful of your thinking, which is why I always say journaling is so important. And the second thing is to think about your immediate desire versus your long-term happiness. Binging on ice cream during the lockdown sounds like a good idea, but what will it cost you in the long term? Don't let the virus, the lockdown, or whatever block you from seeing the vision and the goals. It's time to reset and focus on going after the life you want. So let me know what you think about this episode. Did anything resonate with you? And what do you do during the lockdown to make yourself feel better? Let me know in the comment below because I would really love to hear from you guys. If you have enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and also follow me on Instagram for stuff that you won't see on YouTube. Bye for now.